everybody. I know, but it's late. I'm sorry. Um, Late coming in. It's okay. You can always watch the video later, or you can watch it on YouTube. This is Ginger, and this is Ginger's Chat Show, and this is Monday, February 12th. Um, And first of all, I would like to congratulate the Kansas City Chiefs on their heart stopping, nail biting win. Uh, Super Bowl 58 yesterday at Las Vegas. Um, and it was a nail biter. I didn't think that they were able to come behind, but somewhere along the line, the 49ers kind of lost their way. Hi, Dorothy. Hey, Nancy. Hi, guys. So it was like they were kind of, I think the 49ers were really tired in the end. They just went at hard the first half, and toward the end of the second half, they kind of petered out, if you will. But the Kansas City Chiefs were very consistent, and of course, one of their players did hurt his shoulder when he was trying to tackle one of the the 49ers quarterback. He did hurt his shoulder pretty good, so he was going to be out for a while. The other guy, his leg, um, on the one play, somebody landed, or two guys landed on his leg, and his leg was in an awkward position. I just hope it didn't break it. Um, which it had to hurt. um, so anyway, again, congrats to the Chiefs. This is the back-to-back because they also won last year, and so this year they would like to make it a three-peat, as Travis Kelce said. He wanted to make it a three-peat, so we'll see. Um, of course, we're still waiting for the verdict on the fraud trial, what's going to happen, what the order is going to come out, and everything regarding he who shall not be named. We all know who he is, and Trump. Uh, Trump still thinks he's president. He still thinks he could, be above the law. He's going to find out very quickly he's not above the law at all. I wish some of the voters would just wake up and stop saying both parties are the same. No, they're not the same. They're totally different. Democratic Party is more for the people and making things better for everybody. GOP wants to, they don't want to work with anybody and they don't want to govern. Well, if they don't want to govern and don't want to make things better, then they have no business being in Congress. They have no business being in the Senate or the House. Both the state level and national level. And also all this controversy on the 14th Amendment, Section 3, it says plainly right there, any officer of the United States government, if caught doing insurrection, doing no-nos, and everything else, he should be not allowed to run for office again. Very simple, okay? Very plain. And there are some judges there that say, oh, that's not what it really said. Oh, really? What does it really say? Prove what it really says. It says any officer, which includes the president and vice president. Okay? The president and vice president are the government officers. Okay? Not only that, they work for people like you and me. And I think a lot of people seem to forget that our senators and our representatives work for us. They don't work for corporations. They work for us. The corporations need to get their little snilly noses. The GOP, yeah, and some, not all, but some. I'm talking about the MAGAs, okay? Um, Now you have the conservative, and then you have the liberal GOP. Now those guys were a caucus with us, okay? They don't like to see what the GOP is doing. They don't like the way the party direction that party is going. And I don't either. I don't recognize the Republican Party anymore. I don't. Uh, I grew up in a Republican household. And my parents would have been shocked at all this. They really would have been. Dad be going, nope, okay, I'm gonna vote across party lines, and probably that's what he would have done. Um, so anyway, since Trump is basically convicted in the fraud trial, but still they have to have a public record saying, yep, he cannot do business in New York anymore. He has to disperse all his assets in New York and any assets with his name on it, which includes Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Um, Trump thinks by moving down to Florida, he's immune from New York. This is on the federal level. This is fraud on the federal level, okay? And also he still has to deal with DC, the election interference in DC, which also part of the insurrection. He's got the Georgia election interference trial there. And then he had the SEPA, or the national security document that he has trial that he has to deal with in Florida, which, by the way, Cannon got in trouble for. She tried to help him where she should have been unbiased. And Jack Smith pointed out to her, he says, you know what's going to happen if you try this? I'm going to turn this over to the 11th Circuit and see what they say. And you know full well what they said. They overturned you once before. And he could force the issue, Jack Smith could force the issue of having her removed from the bench because she's not being unbiased, okay? She's not following the law. She's being biased, and she's trying to help Trump. And that's aiding and abetting a criminal, okay? You'd think she would learn these things in law school, and I don't think she was paying attention. Frankly, what the 11th Circuit should do is remove her from the bench and put her in small claims court. Or put her in a different court where dealing with divorce proceedings and things like that, and sign off on that. Or traffic tickets or something like that. In other words, down the bottom of the list in court departments. Or being demoted clear back to law clerk. And she has to learn this all over again. And or lose her license and not be allowed to practice law and go into something else. She really has no idea or inkling how important national security documents are. She doesn't get it. And, we've already seen two other people that have been caught doing this, and they've been tried, convicted, and sent to prison within 3 months. I think within 2 or 3 months. It was pretty quick on their part. So they should do the same with Trump. Um, finish up the fraud trial. Um, and then the other thing they should try to do to speed it up is combine both the election interference in Georgia and the DC trial together and have them done together. And then, you know, finish all the other stuff with separate, because that the separate files, they have to be handled differently. That particular has to be handled differently. Um, it sounds like to me that Canon doesn't really care about rules. Hey, Virginia. Hey, how's the snow in Boston? I understand you guys are getting whacked, so to speak, in the snow. Here it's raining. Been raining off and on. It's not a heavy rain, it's just a steady rain. Um, so my thinking is that they should not let him slide. They should put a very tight leash on him and say, you broke the law, you go to jail. Yeah, yeah. Um, Virginia, I'm so glad you're back in your hometown of Boston. I really am. Because of all the storms and everything's going on in Florida. Last week I was watching, what was it? Today's Monday, right? It was Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. And I don't know if you see the storm videos. Vince Watley, he's the head guy on his YouTube channel. He was live streaming, and there was a tornado. He lives in Evansville, um, Wisconsin, uh, and which is not that far. I don't know how far that is from you, Nancy. I know you live in Ava, Wisconsin. But in Evansville, they had a tornado touchdown, and it came very, very close to his house. It was like the poor guy was freaking out. He was afraid for his wife, he was afraid for his daughter, and he was afraid for his family and some family around that area and friends. Okay? Some of his neighbors on the other side of where his place is, they weren't so lucky. They lost their homes. Two or three, I think 4 or 5 homes were damaged. And this was like a farm, out in the farm area. Okay? Uh, but the poor guy was freaked out. And by the time he got there, of course, the tornado was still traveling, but it was going away from the area. Thank goodness. Um, he said the house is okay, but he won't know in the morning until if there's any damage. Oh, wow, you are getting. They said it's the first time in what, 2 years on the snow? Um, oh, speaking of weather, I don't know if you guys heard on the news. California, near like Chula Vista, up in that way between California and the Mexico border, that direction, near LA proper, if you will. You know how spread out LA is. Um, okay. Uh, this morning they got hit by 20 earthquakes, and all those earthquakes along the 20 earthquakes, all this lasted about 20 minutes. 25 minutes. And those poor guys. And this one gal showed a picture of her house damaged. Her foundation got damaged because it was just like, okay, hit the first time. Okay, it's fine. But when it started hitting about 19 more times, then you kind of wonder. It really. shifted her foundation a lot, and she lost all her baseboarding and everything, and of course, California is dealing with their flooding issue. We're getting hammered. We really are. Uh, right now, La Nina, San Andreas Fault. I don't know. I have to check the news on that. If it's the fault, there's a number of faults down there. Uh, um, but they're still gathering. Yeah, I heard about the earthquakes there in Florida too. Welcome to our world, Dorothy. Because we get them up here too. They had one hit here. It was up. Where did they hit? It was up more up toward Kitsap County up there. We got the Cascadia subduction zone here, but there's a whole bunch of other faults along here, with the Nisqually Fault and everything else that's kind of runs under Seattle, runs near Tacoma, and near Olympia. Yeah, we may. That's a good way to think. The only thing to do is go with the NOAA National or the Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, and also go with the Geological uh, Government USGS. Check with them, because they would have more numbers and scientific information if you're interested in the science and how things work. Um, I've been in a number of earthquakes more than I care to count. I've been the one in 1965, and that was the one I just turned 9 years old when that happened. And it scared the bejeebers out of me, like, what in the hell was that? Um, and I remember the house shaking, and we were bouncing off the walls trying to get to the front door. Back then, they tell us to stand under the front door because the door frames were the strongest. Okay, this is back then, back in the 60s. Okay, now, when to protect yourself from falling debris in an earthquake, you don't stand in the front doorway. You stand either next to the wall, um, or get under a sturdy table, a real strong table, and like an oak table or something like that, and grab one of the legs and table legs and just hang on, bend over, protect the back of your neck, and just hang on and pray. Because when I was up in the 2001 earthquake we had here, I was in a squally quake. I was at work when that happened, and that was an adventure. I hightailed it underneath my desk, and I held onto the the desk leg, and I held on. Okay, the building was going north south, and then it stopped. Then it shifted and went east west. And the office was kind of it was on a second floor? No, third floor. It was kind of like a elongated tower. Okay, this is the Boeing plant in Renton, and I remember hearing. I heard the hangar door come undone outside. We had the doors open because it was kind of warm, really unusually warm that day, and so we had the doors open so we got fresh air. And I heard the hangar door come undone. Uh, and I heard the crane operator blaring his horn, telling everybody to run, take cover, and the poor guy was stuck up there. because electricity went out. He couldn't move his crane or anything. He just finished dropping his load, or putting his load down, okay? And of course, there were a couple of planes that fell off their jacks. Luckily, there was nobody around, but fell off their jacks that were still being manufactured. It was a mess. So Boeing decided to shut us down for. They shut us down for about 6 weeks because they need to assess all the damage and they need to check all the buildings and they need to write the airplanes and see if there's any repair work. But there was some damage to floors and everything, so they had everybody stay home for 6 weeks until they finished all their assessments. And then we slowly got back into um, back back to our routine. But they had to do a lot of repair, and so I was on paid vacation for 6 weeks. So I stayed home, able to get things done, work with my daughter, that type of thing. Um, my ex-husband at that time, my then husband back then, he couldn't work either because uh, they didn't want anybody in the buildings when they were doing all the assessments and everything. So anyway, we'll see what Judge Energon is going to do and say, and I hope they slap Trump so hard it won't be even funny. Um, let's see. Talked about the California earthquake and everything else. And the other thing I want to quickly state is that I don't see why people are so hateful toward uh, Taylor Swift and what she does and what philanthropy work she does. Because every time she does a concert, she leaves about millions of dollars to local charities, especially food banks, um, other social services. She helps out. That was her purpose. And she does this here in the States, and she does this in every country around the world. She said, okay, what social programs do you have here? And where can I donate to so you guys can get these social programs? I don't want the money to go to CEOs and everything else. I want the money to go straight to the people. That's the kind of person she is. She believes in the power of the vote, which the GOP is terrified of her. I go, you guys are so stupid. You're so ignorant and stupid. And so I don't know what the big deal is, really. And she is girlfriend of Travis Kelce, who is tied in at with the Chiefs. So what? She's happy and he's happy. And they encourage each other in their respective careers. That's what you're supposed to do. That's a partnership. And so, I think people are just jealous because uh, she's doing what she set out to do, and that was her dream. Okay, she's worked on this for 20 years, and yeah, they don't know how to give. They don't know how to help other people, and they claim, quote unquote, to be Christians when they're really not. Okay. Um, so anyway, uh, what else? I think that's just pretty much about it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm fighting allergies and my nose is tripping really bad. Um, anyway, I'll do more research. Let's see. Let me check my calendar. hold on a second. Let me check my calendar. Um, let's see. Wednesday, Valentine's Day. Friday. Um, Friday I may have to, on Friday, I may have to cancel the chat because I have a hand appointment. Which, by the way, this is much better, right? Moving much better, and it's not hurting as much. It's still a little bit of a pull, like right in here. It's not as flexible, but I'm working on trying to get it flexible, so it's getting better than it was. Still trying to train it on typing and everything, and I hope to later on train it to play a keyboard, because I want to get back to piano playing. Because they highly recommend it. That really gives my hands good exercise. So anyway, I will see you on Wednesday as scheduled, and I will cancel Friday's chat because I don't know, you know, it takes about 45 minutes to go to South Hill Puyallup. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Okay, take care. Love you. Bye bye. Oh, be sure to insist, persist, and push back. And I will post this on my YouTube channel. Okay? Talk to you later. Bye bye.